What's cracking, comic friends? Near Mint Nando back with another one for you. Got a new microphone, so if my voice sounds a little extra sexy today, that's why. You know, today it's a new mic, tomorrow it's an animated intro. We're making progress here, people. Today I have a few books I want to show you that I'm getting ready to send off to get pressed. It's 14 books in total, and I am going to be submitting these to get graded eventually once I get them back from my pressing guy. So out of the 14, it's an even split between 7 vintage tier books, meaning pre-1975, and the other 7 are modern tier. So newer than 1975, nothing proper modern in there, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'll show you all the books, and I'm going to take them out of the bags and boards so we can get a closer look at the condition. Let me know what you think of these. Feel free to comment, and hope you guys enjoy. All right, so first up we have an ASM 210, pretty nice copy overall. I would probably estimate this as somewhere in the neighborhood of like an 8.5, maybe 9.0. The only thing is grading in modern tier has been really all over the place lately, so it's hard to predict, but hoping I get lucky with this one. So I don't know if you guys can see here, but it does have some spine stress with some color breaking lines. They are on the heavier side, some of them. It's not too many, but you know, there's one here, a few here, one of the staples. There's a little bit of a spine roll, which can be taken out by a press. And it's pretty much it. The edges are pretty nice. This corner is a little bit dinged up, but it's not too bad. And then back cover is nice overall. I did clean this book up a bit, so that improved the overall whiteness here. And yeah, I would say this is a nice copy. I hope I don't get, banged up with the grade, because again, modern tier grading has been really consistent lately. But if I could land somewhere around a 9.0 for this one, that'd be amazing. Let's see what happens. So one other thing I wanted to mention about that ASM 210 is that I got it at a great price. I think I paid $40 for it. So in that condition, regardless of what the grade is when it comes back graded, I think I'll end up winning on that one regardless. Next up, we have a Fantastic Four 54, and this is a really nice copy of this book. I've been looking for a nicer copy of this at a good price, and I happened to find this at a show here in Miami, which was Florida SuperCon, I think. So yeah, this was a really nice find at a great price. But this one I did clean up a bit since it's mostly a white cover. But you can see here, the edges are pretty nice. There isn't too much wear along them. Spine is clean. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but from this side, from this angle, you can see that black line is still, pretty well preserved. This book looks great for the most part, so I'm really hoping that this one comes back with a nice high grade. A little bit of dirt there, let's get rid of that. Back cover, okay, so there is a little bit of a tear here at the top. I don't know if you guys can see that too well, but that's pretty much the only significant issue that I'm seeing. The rest of the back cover does look nice. There's maybe just like some very minor foxing over here, but this corner bend will get pressed out. This should get pressed out as well. Really nice book overall. For Silver Age Fantastic Four, I mean, this is a beauty right here. Love this cover too. Next up, we have a Strange Tales 178. This is a pretty nice copy of this book. Honestly, I'm going to sound really redundant when I say that, because all these books are nice copies. I wouldn't be submitting, low to mid-grade books to be pressed and graded. In any case, this is a black cover and one that's usually pretty tough. This does have a lot of pressable defects on it, so this should come back looking pretty good. But I think one of the areas where I see, some more defects that might not be pressable are just some of these wear marks along this top edge. There are some divots here. This one breaks color, so that's not going to get fixed. I mean, the indentation will get pressed out. This spine stress will get pressed out also. But pretty good overall. Just a few things that hopefully won't hurt the grade too much. Back cover looks pretty good. It's nice and white. Again, a lot of these defects that you see here will get pressed out. And I'm not seeing any major creases along the corners or anything like that. Tough to estimate what this one would come back as, but I would guess we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of a very fine, hopefully better. This to me is one of the best books in this lot. This is a Thor 169, pretty nice copy. I would consider this to be high grade. I showed you in one of my last videos that I just got a Thor 168 graded a 7.0. Picked that up in a trade, so this is kind of the counterpart to that one, the second part of the Galactus origin story. But to me, this is the one right here. This cover is so awesome. To me, one of the most underrated covers, in the Thor run and just in general. I don't hear enough people talking about this book, but personally, I love this book and this artwork. This specific copy is pretty nice overall. I would say some of the more significant issues are along the spine here. Some spine stress, but you also see a little bit of wear just on the inside of the spine, which I would imagine is from the cover being flipped over from reading. But a lot of this will get pressed out. I don't know if you guys can see some of like the indentations on the interior of the cover and then along the spine as well, a little bit of a spine roll. But edges look good for the most part. Corners, this one's a little bit dinged up, but not too bad. And then the back cover, pretty nice and white. I did clean this book and it's looking nice and clean. So yeah, high hopes for this one. I would hope this can come back a 7.5, 8.0, something like that. Need to taper my expectations, of course, but regardless, this is such an awesome book. Really love this one. All right, so this is one of the books I showed you in my last two videos where I did a little CPR. This is one of the two books. This is an XMen 134. So you guys have seen this one. I'll kind of speed through this. This originally graded an 8.5. I'm hoping to get a grade bump on this, but not too confident that that's going to happen with just the way modern tier grading has been lately. Hoping I'm proved wrong, but this is a nice book. I just see a few things that are a little bit discouraging with regards to the condition. This spine tick here, which you guys can probably see, and then just some of the wear along the black on this side. But this book was never pressed, so let's see what happens after this book gets pressed. Fingers crossed for a 9.0 or better. So here we have a fantastic 451, and this is a really nice book here. This was kind of a sleeper grab that I got at a show. I got this at a great price, and I showed you guys that other copy that I had graded a 6.0. This is hands down much nicer than that one. This I paid less for, and this book really has very few flaws. I mean, this is a really great copy. I think it's going to grade high. So if you guys can see, the edges look great. The corners are sharp. I mean, this one's a little bit dinged up, but not too bad. This one also has a little something, but that spine is clean here. This is like a little bit folded over, kind of. There's something going on with this staple, but the staple itself is fine, and I think this might get taken care of with a press. Even this only has some very minor tears, nothing crazy. Back cover, a little bit of tanning, but not too bad. And aside from that, I mean, there's just a little bit of a tear over here, a micro tear, which isn't too significant. Maybe one or two along this bottom edge also, but for a book this age, this is a really great copy. I'm praying for like a 7.5, 8.0. Hopefully it's not wishful thinking. But considering the grades I pulled with some of the other Fantastic Four books I showed you in my unboxing videos, I would say a 7.5 or an 8.0 is definitely feasible for this. So yeah, let's see what happens with this book. All right, next up we have another one for the modern tier submission. This is a Wolverine 8. This is that Mr. Fix-It, Joe Fix-It cover. And patch, of course. So this is just an awesome 90s book, or actually, sorry, 1989. Unfortunately, it is not a newsstand copy, but still very clean. This is definitely in the near mint range. I'm hoping this can push somewhere like a 9.4, 9.6. Wouldn't say it's a 9.8 because I don't know if you guys can see there's like a little bit of a scuff here along the spine. So the black that's at the edge of the spine is kind of taken off right there. So that would probably drop it down from a 9.8. But aside from that, this after a press is going to look really good. There's a little bit of a line along here, which will get pressed out. There's a little bit of like a dimple here that'll get pressed out. Really clean copy. Let's hope this one grades very high. So here we have a Tales to Astonish 100. Love this cover. This is an awesome book, and this is a pretty nice copy aside from some pressable defects here. When I bought this book online, this was shipped in kind of a not so secure package, which came kind of bent up, and this book took a little bit of damage from it. Thankfully, all the defects that it acquired during the shipping process are pressable. There's a big crease here. There's some kind of folds along the top edge. There's just a lot of that kind of stuff. It's mostly pressable, but this is a pretty high grade copy here. Along the back cover as well, it looks pretty good. I would say the biggest issue just might be the slight tanning that it has. But aside from that, I have pretty high hopes for this one after it gets pressed. I think it's going to look pretty good. And I'm hoping for, I would say this is at least a very fine. I mean, this book can come back even higher than that after it gets pressed. The spine looks great. It does have some tears along here. Those are kind of the biggest issues that I see that might not be pressable. And yeah, let's see how this one comes back, but very nice. So this one is a bit of a painful one to show you guys, I'm not gonna lie. After that last video that I put out with the cleaning, I had a few other books to clean, and this is one of them. So it was a Sunday night. I was kind of rushing to get a few of these books cleaned and finished up, and this was the very last one that I cleaned. It was very late at night. Had a bit of an accident. I'll show you that in a second. This is, of course, a New Mutants 87. Front cover looks amazing. Really nice. Almost no flaws on the front. Spine looks excellent. There are a few little pressable defects along the front cover here. But yeah, corners, spine, edges all look amazing. Then on the back cover, you can notice a little bit of a spine roll here. A few other pressable things, but the big thing is something that I did, unfortunately, and this was a cleaning mistake that is very regrettable. Take notes, guys. Do not make the same mistake if you're cleaning your own books. But if you see here, I don't know if you guys can see, there are kind of some remnants of some red spots. So originally there was this red all along this corner here, at the very edge of this corner. Originally I thought it was some kind of printing defect where like the red ink just printed along here also, but I started taking the eraser over it and it was coming off. So then of course, I start really like getting into this corner trying to get it all off, and of course I put a little bit of a crease into that corner. Oh my god. So the majority of this should come out with a press, but I did put a tiny little tear there in that corner. Oh my god, it's so painful for me to even look at. Really stupid mistake on my part, but I think a press is going to do wonders for this book. This should be conservatively like a very fine plus. I would say an 8.5, but I think this should grade a little bit higher on a good day. Let's see what happens. All right, so here's another really great one of the best books in this lot. This is a Fantastic Four 39. Amazing early Doctor Doom cover. What an awesome book here. So this one I have really high hopes for after a press. It does have a lot of like wrinkles on the interior of the cover, which should get taken care of with a press. Aside from that, this book is nice and clean. Of course it does have its flaws. This is an old Silver Age book, but I think this is going to look really good after it gets pressed. The spine, it doesn't really have too many spine stress lines. There's a little bit of a color break along the staple here. The edges are pretty good for the most part. Corners are good. Some little like micro tears, like a little bit of I'm not even sure what you call that there, but that's just some wear along the top. Back cover, not too much tanning, looks good. Corner looks good, edges look good. This has potential to be a pretty high grade book right here after a press. And this is one that I got on eBay for a good price for this condition. So really curious to see what this grades. This is going to be one of the better books in my collection after it's all said and done. So really high hopes for this. Here we have the other one from my CPR video. It's an XMen 96. Again, this book had previously graded in 7.5, but this looks much nicer than that. I would imagine after resubmitting, this one might come back with a bump, but let's see. Again, things have been unpredictable with that modern tier grading lately. So yeah, fingers crossed. Again, this book was pressed before. I'm just gonna have it repressed. I did clean it up a bit and hoping for something better than a 7.5 this time around. So another really awesome one here. This is a Marvel Premiere 1, and this is a great, amazing, high-grade copy of this book. That black looks awesome. There's a little bit of like a crease that doesn't break color along here, which I think will get taken care of with a press. Some very minor spine stress lines, but not bad at all from what I usually see with this book. A little bit of wear along this corner and this one too. Let's see, back cover, slight tanning, not bad. But the one interesting thing about this book, and I will show you guys, but the centerfold actually has, I don't know if I can just get there quickly enough, double staples. So this is a manufacturing defect. There's like a story with this and why this happens, but I think it's something to do with the printer running out of staples, and just the interior pages would get stapled first. The cover would have to come on with the second set of staples. So from what I understand, it doesn't affect the grade, but this is a really awesome copy. I'm hoping for a VF on this one. I would say if I could pull an 8.0 on this book, I'd be really happy. But I would think conservatively this is 7.5 or better. If I could get into the 8.0, 8.5 range, that'd be amazing. So this book is one of the books I showed you from the haul that I got from those few shows that I went to in the last month or so. This is an ASM 151. Awesome, classic cover. Definitely could use a press. I'm sure you guys can see some of that when I angle this a bit. But very nice copy overall. It does have a few spine stress lines. That's pretty much the main concern here, because I think a lot of the rest of this will come out with a press. A little bit of wear along this top edge here, but for the most part, it looks really good. There's just a little bit of yellowing along this back here. I wasn't able to get rid of that with a clean, but again, most of what I'm seeing that's wrong with this book is pressable. A little bit of a crease here in this corner, you know, some indentations and some dimples and stuff around here. But this one will go with the modern tier submission because I think this book came out in 1975. My second copy of this book, the other one that I have is graded an 8.0. I'm hoping for better than an 8.0 on this one. But honestly, I think it's probably going to be around that same range. If I could pull an 8.5 on this one, I'd be happy. All right, last and most certainly not least, we have what I consider to be the best new addition to my collection. This is none other than an amazing Spider-Man 40, an absolute classic. John Romita cover with Spider-Man standing over Green Goblin. What an amazing book this is. Call it like a minor grail maybe, but I was so excited to buy this book. I got it at a pretty good price, I think. I know the value's dropped a bit recently, which is the way the market's been, but This is a very nice copy overall. It's definitely not perfect, but we're talking early Silver Age. You can see some of the flaws here. A little bit of wear along the spine, just some wear in general. This corner's got a little bit of the color lifted off, kind of worn off there. It looks like kind of a scrape maybe. But for the most part, there are no major creases, a little bit of creasing along this corner here, and some bends that should get pressed out. It's got a little bit of tanning, so the white parts aren't that white anymore, and you can kind of see why from the back cover here. It's a bit tan, but I was able to clean this up a bit. For the most part, the back cover looks pretty good. There's a little bit of wear along that top edge, but man, this is such an awesome book here. I would guess this will come back somewhere in the neighborhood of a fine plus or like a fine, very fine. So let's say like 6.5, 7.0. If I could land a 7.0 with this book, I'd be extremely happy. This is just such a classic, one of the best books in my collection. Really excited to see what this looks like when it gets pressed, and even more excited to see what it grades. Okay, so we got through all 14 books. As you can see, there are quite a few that have pressable defects. I'm not going to show you the books after I get them back from being pressed, but of course I will show you them once I get them back from being graded. It might be a little while, hopefully not too long. I'll most likely submit the vintage tier books first, wait a few weeks, and then submit the modern tier one, since those usually come back a bit quicker. And yeah, a little bit of patience. We know how it goes with grading. Luckily, turnaround times have been really fast lately, so it shouldn't take too long, and my pressing guy is pretty quick also. So hoping for some good results here. I'll keep you guys updated, of course. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for joining, and I will see you next time.